Rashad Evans, UFC Hall of Famer, UFC analyst, and now once again an active fighter, man. It sounds so crazy to hear. I'm happy about it, but tell me, I mean, why the decision to come back? And I got two theories. One, the psychedelics are really setting in, man. Or two, the new baby means I got to get some more paychecks coming in. So what was the motivation for coming back?
A little bit of both, man, and just wanting to just go out and have fun again. I want to be able to end my career the way I brought it in, which is enjoying fighting. I felt as the last few fights that I had on my UFC career, I just wasn't mentally there. I wasn't really engaged, and I really wasn't invested in fighting like I know that I can be. So it was something that I I knew that once the smoke settled as far as my emotions concerned, with competing, that I would want to compete again. And now I'm to the point where, you know, um, I'm happy again in life. I'm enjoying the process of training and helping guys get in shape. I got Greg Hardy in camp right now, and I got a couple other guys that I'm in camp that I have a camp, and I'm enjoying the role as a coach. But as coaching people, I started to get in shape, and once I got in shape, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can still do this a little bit.
That's awesome, man. When you look back on that, you say you kind of didn't really enjoy it. I mean, was it just burnout? Because I do remember that part, man. It just seemed like you weren't, I don't know, you were, like you said, you weren't enjoying it anymore. Like you didn't like being there anymore. So do you think it was just, was it burnout with the sport or burnout with the UFC, or were there things going on outside the sport? When you look back on it, do you know what it was?
It was a combination of things. It was burnout with the sport, burnout with a lot of things in my personal life. Um, you know, having being on that roller coaster, that up and down roller coaster. Having fought for titles and being in the mix of competing for so long and just doing with the ups and downs of the fight game. It kind of just wears on you after a while, and after a while, you just like you lose the gratitude of competing. You know what I'm saying? Fighting just stops, being what it was. When you first get the UFC contract, you just feel so honored to just be able to go out there and fight and display, your skill set, your talents in the sport that you love. And towards the end, I was just like, I just couldn't get out of there fast enough. I just really didn't, want to be there, and I really didn't live the life of a fighter who really wanted to be in there, because a fighter who wants to be in there, a fighter who wants to excel at the next level, they never stop training camp. They're always consistently training. They're always consistently raising their level to the highest.
So I guess to be clear, I mean, this isn't a decision that you made quickly. I know you were talking about this. I mean, as far back as like September 2019, I think is when the news came out that you had, been released from your contract, parting ways with the UFC.
Yeah.
What slowed things down? Was it just the pandemic that slowed things down between then and now, or why is it taking so long to think about the idea to now get to this point where it's like, no, we're chasing after this?
Yeah, it was a pandemic that kind of slowed things down, but it was also the fact that I really wasn't in a hurry to make the decision, and that's another reason why it's just kind of taken as long as it has, is because I allowed myself to go through the feelings, to go through the gambit of emotions, wanting to compete, not wanting to compete, understanding what that commitment is really like, and understanding, it's more than just a verbal commitment. It's something that you really have to mentally be engaged in and really want to do on every single aspect and every single level, because it's hard being a professional fighter. It's hard going out there and dedicating your life to go out and be the best that you can be on fight night. So it was one that I wanted to take my time, and I wanted to be for the right reasons. I feel like right now, everything that has happened around COVID has kind of put some things in perspective, and really just allowed me to just see life in a different kind of way, and just see the opportunities that come along with life in a different kind of way. And I would love to be able to go out there and and just have another fight, maybe another two fights, and fight from a place where I can be proud of, fight from a place where it's about fun, it's about enjoying the process and not just being there to just pick up a check.
Yeah. I guess I should ask, I mean, because boxing seems to be all the rage these days right now, right? I mean, everybody's crossing over. And, I know you're a wrestler growing up, but you got some hands. You may have had a knockout or two along the way. So are Are we talking an MMA fight or are we talking a boxing match?
I mean, we can be talking an MMA fight, but particularly speaking, I'm talking a boxing match right now. I would love to do one of these boxing matches, one of these celebrity boxing matches. Particularly with Logan Paul. You know what I'm saying? I know that fight's on the table, and it's just a matter of Logan Paul wants to take it. But I put my hat in the, I put my name in the hat, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if it's a challenge that he feels up for. Because at the end of the day, if he fights me, it's going to be a fight. You know what I'm saying? All respect to the great Mayweather, but Mayweather was just playing. You know what I'm saying? He was playing around with him. He allowed Jake to look good. He allowed Jake to feel comfortable. But if Jake comes against me, Jake gonna have to do some work. And I'm not sure if I'm not sure if he's for that. But we'll see. We'll see if he accepts this fight, then he's down and he's a lot tougher than I thought. But if he don't, then the party goes on. I'll find somebody else to dance with.
I was gonna say, when you look at these guys, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, I mean, we're talking. I mean, you're a UFC Hall of Famer. When you look at these guys, are you thinking easy paycheck, let's go cash it in, or do you look at them and say, I'm actually kind of impressed with what they've done, because it does seem like they're taking the boxing seriously, even if the rest of it is kind of some shenanigans and such.
I feel like I'm very surprised and I'm very impressed with what they've been able to do. With the numbers alone, being able to get that many people to actually tune into a fight like this, of this capacity, and really just carving out their own demographic and their own fighting organization, pretty much, and their own fighting organization is for me it's very impressive. But at the same time, I don't think they are at the highest caliber, but they are tough. They are tough. I think Jake may be tougher than Logan, but at the same time, I still think that Logan has some intangibles that Jake doesn't have. I think that Logan's a bit stronger. I think Logan's a bit stronger. Has Yeah, I've been thinking about a couple of names. A couple of names came to mind. We were in talks with Roy Jones. We were talks with Logan Paul as well too. I don't know what's going to happen with the Roy Jones situation, but the Logan Paul is one that we're trying to get for September 9th, September 18th. We're trying to get a fight with Logan around that time. It all depends though. It all depends on if this is something that he's really wanting to do, or something that he feels confident about doing. Because at the end of the day, he's not a real fighter. You know what I'm saying? He's just he doesn't have the mentality of a fighter. So for him, it's more like he's fighting for popularity. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same mindset. So. But I would love to fight though. I would love to fight with Logan Paul, because I feel like, with a fight with Logan, Logan is he's young, he's tough, he's got some size. I feel like it'll be competitive, you know what I'm saying? I haven't fought in a long time, and he's been training, he's been looking pretty good. So I think it'll be a pretty good fight, and I think it'll be something good for the fans to see too,
I think it would be great. How soon do you need to know? I mean, do you have a deadline of when you have to be committed to this date, or is this just kind of open-ended?
It's open-ended right now. It's not anything that's set in stone. Those are a few dates that were thrown around. But I'm sure there'll be other times that we can make the matchup happen if it does end up happening. But those were the dates that I've heard originally. But I'm down to fight any of these guys. There's a lot of guys on the market on the horizon. Even outside of the whole Logan Paul situation. This whole celebrity boxing thing is kind of grew some legs now, and there's a lot of opportunity in this arena. You have Vitor Belfort fighting Oscar De La Hoya. So there's a lot of this going on. There's a lot of potential. So whether it's with Logan Paul, it's going to be with somebody. You know what I'm saying? I would just rather it be with Logan Paul, because that would be a fun fight to start off with.
I like it. So how long do you think this run lasts? I mean, you said 1 or 2, but if you're boxing celebrities, maybe you could get out there a little longer, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was thinking 1 or 2, but
it's taking it fight by fight basis. At this point in my life, I feel like, John, everything changed. Like, ever since I stopped fighting in the UFC, I went through so much transformation. I changed my diet. My mindset's changed. Just with a lot of different things I experienced. As you mentioned before, the psychedelic path that I was on. You know what I'm saying? It's all these different things that just kind of give life a different perspective. And for me, I've never been more confident, never been more secure, and just wanting to compete and enjoy competing as such. You know what I'm saying? Without all of the strings that comes along with competing sometimes. When I first started competing, it was something that I loved to do. I would fantasize about it all the time, but towards the end, I just couldn't get away from it fast enough. I just could not. It just was something I wanted nothing to do with anymore. But since I've been on my journey, and since I've been, figuring myself out, figuring out what in life that I really want, I've started to have a different outlook and started to have a different relationship with just the mindset of even wanting to compete in the first place.
Do you think, and I often wondered about this, do you think it was the rivalries with Rampage and the rivalry with Jon Jones that made it so unenjoyable for you? Do you think it was the rivalry with Rampage and the rivalry with Jon Jones that made it so tough for you? I mean, those were intense, emotional rivalries. I mean, did that take a lot out of you?
Yeah, those fights did take a lot out of me, man. It was those fights, man. Those fights took a lot out of me, and it was a rebuilding myself afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm totally honest with myself, it was a mental defeat, and I just really had a hard time of just bouncing back on so many different aspects, because you can lose physically speaking, and then get your mind right, and then turn that around to be able to compete again. But after I lost to Jon Jones, it really just took a long time for me just to find that will to want to compete again, and find that stride that I once had. And then once the knee injury happened, it was another thing in a way too that kind of just took my confidence away, because being the smaller fighter, I had those big legs. Everything was my legs, and it helped me move in and out of danger. It helped me take people down, and it was just my basis of Sugar Rashad Evans. And once I lost my legs, I lost my ability to bring the sweetness. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't out there being the better mover, being the most athletic fighter in the octagon. I wasn't being that fighter anymore. And once I stopped being a fighter anymore, I just became an average fighter.
I appreciate your honesty there, man. Well, I got one question that I have to ask. What did your mom say? What did your mom say when you told her you were going to fight again? Surely she had something to say.
Wait, Rashad, listen. Rashad, I know you thinking that you want to get out there and box again, but Rashad, sit your ass down somewhere, Rashad. My mama told me to sit down somewhere, man. She said, Rashad, sit your ass down somewhere. But you know what? The last time my mama told me to sit my ass down somewhere, I became UFC World Champion. So
sometimes you can't listen. That's awesome, man.
Sometimes you can't listen, man.
Well, Rashad, man, it's exciting to hear you're back. Obviously, man, we miss seeing you compete, and I look forward to seeing it again. Any last messages, thoughts you want out there for people that may think you're crazy, or they wondering what the hell you're doing?
Yeah, people going to think I'm crazy, but that's all right. Once I get into the ring, they're going to see, okay, he's got a little method behind his madness, He's kind of crazy, but in a good way. But, yeah, I want to get this opportunity, man. And, Logan Paul, hey, sign on the line, man. Let's make this happen. Let's see the fans what they want to see.
Perfect. Can't say any better than that. Thank you, Rashad. It's good catching up with you, and look forward to seeing the fight, man.
Thank you, John. Take care, man. I appreciate you.